Let's begin with your introduction first. Introduce yourself.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Ramraj Meena. I am from Dosa, Rajasthan. And I have done my graduation in electrical engineering from IIT Ropar in 2017. After that, I was preparing for civil services. And meanwhile, I wrote this exam and I am here.
All right. And tell us about your family also.
Sir, in my family, we are 7 members, 3 brothers and 2 sisters. And my brother is a teacher, and my 2 sisters married, and me and my brother are younger brother are not married.
Ramraj, you done your graduation in 2017.
Yes, sir.
It's been 5 years. So, were you working somewhere, or you have some additional some add-on academic background also, or something which you
Yes,
have done along with it?
sir. I was preparing for civil services only, and there I've given the 4 attempts. And meanwhile, I was for some time during the COVID-19, I was working for an institute as a content developer for around 2 months or 3 months. That's all.
All right. So you have given how UPSC mains also. How many times? 4 times.
3 times, sir. I have given 3 times UPSC
Three
mains.
times. So how many attempts left now?
Sir, I have given 4 attempts and 2 attempts are left.
Two attempts.
Though I am in the category and there are unlimited attempts in that.
So basically, your main target is civil services.
Yes, sir. My main target was civil services, and I am looking for the other options also.
Okay. What are the other options which you are looking for?
Sir, one option is this EPFO exam, and I am fortunately selected in the Press Council of India, and I am about to join that in the August.
Already, you qualified that examination.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When is the joining?
August, sir.
August.
Yes.
August.
Yes.
Ramraj, can you tell me what are your goals in life?
Ma'am, my goals in life is about to serve the society at the ground level. I am really concerned about the various social issues in our society, like child marriage and you know, girl child are sometimes killed at the even womb itself. So I wanted to work for the women at the ground level because I see I in my society and in the Rajasthan state the child marriage is a big issue. So I wanted to work for that. That's why I was pursuing civil services.
Okay, so if you get selected uh, for civil services after you join at this particular post, will you leave this job and go on for civil services later?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I will leave this job, but I will definitely gain this experience and I will use that into the civil services. But I would like to join the civil services and do groundwork where I was intended to work.
So, don't you think that this particular exam or this particular post is not in line with your goals or what you want to do in life?
Not like that, ma'am. If I won't get selected into the civil services, then only through this post I can serve the society by working with some NGO and all that. Because what my goal is that can be served through the civil services and also through the some other means like joining the NGOs and all that. So in meanwhile, I was trying the civil services, and if I won't get there, then I will definitely go for the.
It's been 5 years since you are preparing for UPSC. Have you been associated with any NGO, or have you done any associated with any social service as of now?
Sir, actually, I was associated during the college times. In this time, I was not actually associated with any.
Okay, tell us about that experience.
Sir, I was part of a group called Inactus Group that is operational in the IIT Ropar, and where the college used to send us to find the social problems and then to report those social problems and then discuss that among the students and find the solutions of those problems. And I was in Punjab at that point of times, and farmers problems and even social problem is also very prevalent there. The son meta preference, son preference or the daughters. These problems are present.
All right, that's good. But what about the problems associated with the marginalized worker? Because the APFO's main target is to serve this specific class.
Yes, sir, definitely, sir. And this would be, yes, sir. This is another reason to be associated with this particular organization, that I would get the opportunity to work for the people who are marginalized workers, who are, low paid workers, kind of, and who are working in the unorganized sectors, and if in the organized sector, and then they are working at the low levels.
Okay, so tell me how EPFO serve these marginalized workers and what are the issues associated with them?
Yes, sir. Sir, EPFO serve them through the provident fund provisions. In this, what happens that employer and employee both contribute to the EPF, and then the EPFO maintains that fund. And whenever there is a contingency in their life after retirement or after the age of the 60, the EPFO gives them the good return so that they could live a dignified life there.
Okay, two questions. One is what are those contingencies, and are you sure about the age criteria?
I'm not sure about the age criteria, but after retirement, whatever the retirement age is.
So, what are the contingencies in which a subscriber or member can withdraw the amount from the fund?
Yes, sir. Now there is a provision of withdrawing the amount for the certain duration of if the employee is unemployed for a certain duration of the time, and also in case of the their children's school fees, marriage, and if health related issue, then there is a partial withdrawal is allowed.
All right, Abhinav sir?
Yes. So, Ramraj, you have done. Can you give a brief detail about your educational background?
Sir, I have done. I did my schooling from the government senior secondary school in my village, Charada, and then I did my schooling from the from my district in the PCM, physics, chemistry, and maths. And after that, I prepared for the IIT JEE for 1 year in Kota, and thereafter I got the IIT Roper electrical engineering, and I did my graduation from there.
Okay, so you did electrical engineering, and did you sit for the placements or not?
Yes, sir. I sit for the placement.
Okay, and were you placed in any firm?
Yes, sir. I was placed in the HPCL, and
Okay.
but I did not join. Actually, I was inclined more towards the civil services that time.
Okay, but HPCL is a like it is one of the fine companies in India, and you have rejected that to prepare for civil services.
Yes, sir. Actually, I have decided before the placement session itself that I would think about the preparing for the civil services. And by the time, I was passing from my college, I was decided that I would go in this sector and I will try uh, to get selected as soon as possible. But unfortunately, I did not.
Okay. So you did electrical engineering.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you tell me the basic principle of working of a transformer?
Yes, sir. So transformer is a static device and it works on the principle of the induction. So
Okay.
through which what happens that we give the supply to a primary winding, and this primary winding generates the magnetic field, and this magnetic field interacts with the secondary winding, and through which we can uh, get the more power uh, in terms of the voltage and current, or even less power. So in this way, we can design the step up and step down transformers.
So it changes the power. Transformer changes the power.
No, sir. It changes actually voltage and the current,
Okay.
but power remains constant on
The
both
power
sides.
remains constant, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you aware of the different losses in a transformer?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Name some.
Sir, there are mainly two types of losses. One is core loss and another is copper loss. In core loss, further, there are two types of losses. One is hysteresis loss and other is eddy current loss. and these are mainly because of the material of the transformer. And the core losses are mainly because of the winding and the current that is flowing through it.
Okay, fine. So you come from Rajasthan, and in Rajasthan there is a lot of opportunity for renewable energy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So are you aware of the like solar and wind installations in Rajasthan? Like, what is the capacity of renewable energy?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Please
Sir,
explain.
recently Rajasthan becomes the first state which has added the 10 gigawatt of the renewable energy through solar only. Sir,
Okay.
this is a big milestone in itself. And sir, Rajasthan is the state which is having more than 50% of its electricity supply from the renewable sources. This is another thing, sir. So state is
Is
more
that
than,
the truth? 50% of
yes, sir,
renewable
more
supply
than
from?
50% if we include the private production also, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And what about the capacity? How much is the capacity?
Sir, I'm not sure about the exact figures. I'm just sure about the percentage.
Okay. Okay. Or at an all India level, are you aware how much percentage is renewable energy?
Yes, sir. It is currently 146 gigawatt if we include the large hydro out of 380
Okay.
total installed.
And is solar energy installed capacity is more or wind energy?
Recently, I think solar has crossed the wind, if I'm not.
And the reason being?
So we are focusing very much on the solar energy installations because we are a tropical country and we are having uh, uh, sunlight for a long duration period, long duration during the year.
Okay. What is the new target for that, for all the renewable energy sector?
So earlier the target was to install the 175 of gigawatt of the renewable energy by the 2020.
By this year?
Now recently our Prime Minister has also set a goal for the 2030 to install a 450 gigawatt of the renewable energy by 2030.
Okay. So within this target of 175 gigawatt by 2022, what is the like how much of it is accomplished? And so if you are aware of the status?
Yes, sir. Sir, by the we were having the target of the biomass, 10 gigawatt from the biomass, and I think we have achieved that.
Okay.
And in the solar, we are lagging somewhat behind, but I think sir, the overall progress is very good. After 2000,
The solar's target was around 100 gigawatts, out of which 60
yes,
was
100
for the
gigawatt.
power at solar parks and 40 was rooftop installation. So are you aware about the status in both these?
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm not aware about that.
Okay. So in Rajasthan, there's a lot of progress in developing solar parks. But what about the rooftop installations?
What about this? Sir?
Rooftop solar installation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rajasthan is also encouraging the rooftop solar power plants. It is running the subsidy schemes for that and encouraging the banks to give the loan for this particular program because Rajasthan sir, mainly depends for the import of the electricity from the Punjab and the nearby states. So it is mainly focusing more and more installation of the decentralized installations.
Okay, Ramesh. From an engineering point of view, how many different types of solar plants are there? Are you aware of different types of ways to generate solar energy?
Yes, sir. Sir, one is photovoltaic cell through which we directly converts the solar energy into the electricity.
Okay.
Another is, sir, we can use the solar power to generate the heat and through which we can generate the steam and we can use that steam to run the turbines. Sir.
Concentrated solar power, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we are
Is there
also
any plant utilizing this type of installations, concentrated solar power in Rajasthan?
sorry, sir, I'm not aware about.
Okay. Okay, and you're telling something? You're telling something else also.
No, sir, I was telling one more that the mixed capacity is also now in a very much news. to mix the two forms of the renewable energy like wind and solar, so that a grid connected reliable supply could be ensured.
Okay, but then that is like after it is generated, right? Okay. So you are now giving the exam for EPFO. I believe you have given some accounting exams as well in this.
I have selected in the Press Council of India, sir, and I was writing only this exam. Last year I wrote this exam and I was waiting for the interview.
No. In this EPFO exam, is there any paper for accounting and?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So, what are the like in broader terms? What are the major parts of a balance sheet?
Major parts of, sir?
Balance sheet.
Balance sheet.
Yes.
Okay, sir. In balance sheet, there are mainly two parts. One is liability side and other is asset side, sir.
What about equity?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Equity is also there. From that, what the shareholder, the owners invest in the initially while starting their business, that is accounted into the equities.
That is equity. Right. Okay. So is a balance sheet continuously changing or is it like a constant?
Balance
What do you
sheet,
understand by a balance?
so balance sheet is mainly formed at the end of the year to know the status of the company. And by showing this status, the investors and the other stakeholders like government judge and their part like the tax liability of the company, and the investors could decide on the basis of that whether they want
Is
to
tax liability judged on the balance sheet?
government could check that, sir, cross check that if they are having any doubt or any kind of.
What is tax liability made on?
Tax liability is mainly made on the profit and loss accounts, sir.
Okay. Income.
Yes, sir.
Regarding this balance sheet, so there is an side asset side, and then the other
Yes.
side is liability and equity,
Yes, sir. Yes.
right? So in asset side, what are the like major components?
Asset sides and major components are the like machinery, land, and other such productive assets. For example, even the intangible assets, copyrights, and any major discovery. All these are accounted as a part of the asset sides by assigning their appropriate monetary values.
What is a loan then? Is it a asset or a liability?
Loan is a liability of the company and liability of the companies.
Okay. What if it is a bank?
It is assets, sir. For the bank, it is assets.
Okay, for the bank it is a.
Yes.
So going through your DAF, you have written reading articles on developments in international relations.
Yes, sir.
So what do you read on which kind of articles do you read when you say developments in international relations?
I read from the newspapers and other platforms like Quora, where senior bureaucrats and other experts are also there. And all these platforms, I read the
So
articles.
Quora is your main source for international relations.
No, sir, newspaper and Quora means I
Okay.
choose the articles.
Okay. So what are the latest developments like in the past 1 week?
In the past 1 week, sir, mainly the Ukraine war is going on there.
But that is a long drawn thing. In the past 1 week.
Past 1 week, sir, I have not read any major issue. Maybe I have missed.
Still, there might be something that you must have heard in international relations. Wheat exports, some countries accepting, some countries
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
saying many issues. Other issues are also there. In names.
Yes. Yes, sir. One news was there that UAE has India has asked the UAE to ban the re-export of the wheats, which India is exporting to the UAE. This was, I think, news you are referring to.
Okay. Any other news?
One, I think, the Asian meeting is going there.
Okay. Okay. Apart from the Russia and Ukraine crisis, is there any other developments in international relation that you want to discuss about?
Sir, one trouble is there in the Western Africa, Northwestern Africa, between the Algeria and Morocco, sir. There was
Okay.
some, and another region our neighbors of Sri Lanka, which is the economic crisis there.
Hmm.
And our own country, sir, is dealing with the China, there in the Ladakh region, sir. So
Okay.
these are,
If you can summarize the developments in Sri Lanka in few points, please do that.
sir, Sri Lanka is having insufficient forex reserve to pay their bills and to service the loans. So
And the
it is,
reason behind that?
yes, sir. So there are various reasons. The primary reason is, sir, their excessive dependence on the loans before 2019, before COVID-19. And there was a corruption and mismanagement of the funds. And the COVID-19 has further kind of proved as a last nail in the coffin, where their tourism industry was badly hit, and their export was also badly hit because their export was depending on some sort of the import from the other countries like China and Russia. So they were not getting the supply of
So what was the major export item of Sri Lanka, or what is the major export item?
Sri Lanka, sir, is apparels and textiles. Sri Lanka is in value added. Sri Lanka had some sort of value in the textiles also, and tea is one chief export from the Sri Lanka also.
So, given the current scenario in Sri Lanka, do you think that it has given an opportunity for India to export tea from here?
To export, sir, sorry, sir, I am unable.
To export
Export tea.
tea from India.
Yes, sir, definitely there is opportunity, but India is already, I think, India's tea is already in the huge demand, so I don't think so much difference is going to take.
So, you're not aware about the opportunity of that is
About
there.
tea,
There
sir,
is a blank space left behind now, where there is opportunity for exporting of tea, just like the opportunity that was created in wheat.
yes, sir, definitely would be there, but our tea is already in the high demand, so I don't think so any huge impact is going to be happen there. Obviously, there will be certain difference.
What happened in wheat? In the case of
Sir, in wheat, what happened that the Russia and Ukraine was the major exporters of the wheat. Countries like Egypt, which were importing around 80% of their demand from the Ukraine only, and because of the war, they were unable to supply. So now India is the country the world is looking for to supply the wheat, sir. So here was the big opportunity.
so in tea also something similar is there, might materialize or not materialize, but it exists.
Yes, sir. So maybe, sir, I am not aware.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, Ramraj, see, if we go through your academics and going through what you just said, you spent 4 years for your engineering degree, and then around 5 years for your civil services preparation, and now you also got selected for this Press Club of India. Yeah. And then now you are also appearing for this interview. So don't you think it will simply seems like that you are not clear with your own goals, and you may not be a suitable candidate for us as an organization, because first, you don't have that academic background which is otherwise required for this job. Second, you already have your different goals, and how you think you are suitable for this profile?
Sir, I was initially obviously was trying for the civil services, and after that I was because I spent the 4 years there, so I decided to look for the other options also which are available there. So in last year I looked for this exam, and as far as my press council of India is concerned, sir, that exam happened actually in the November, and the result has been declared by now, and I'm not sure whether I will be selecting in the EPFO in the final list or not. As far as, sir, EPFO, my suitability is concerned, sir, uh, sir, I can learn the new things also, and there are labor laws were very much similar to the what I have studied in the civil service during my civil services preparation. And accountancy was something new to me. And during the exam only I learned that how interesting this subject is. So I'm sure that, sir, if I would get the some training there in the EPFO, I would catch up with whatever the requirement of the organization is.
All right. So, what personality traits you think you have which are going to be useful for this profile of enforcement officer?
Sir, one is openness. I am always open to the feedbacks which the even if the employees would give to bring the change into the organizations for the better service. And second thing is integrity. I believe that I have the integrity to consistently uphold the principles of the organizations in which I would be working, sir. And sir, third thing is to work in alignment with our constitutional provisions, which are mentioned into the DPSP provisions, which are mainly intended to establish a welfare state, sir.
Okay, so that's good that you are thinking in the wider perspective. But if I specifically talk about the APFO, are you aware about any recent development with APFO, any e-governance initiative taken by APFO?
Sir, one is from portal. EPFO has launched this, through which it is registering the workers more and more.
What's the name of the application?
Is with the portal, sir, if I'm not.
Is Vidha portal. Okay, you are from Rajasthan, so national pension system that was very much in news in Rajasthan also. What was the reason for it, and what is the system all about?
Yes, the government has decided to bring back the earlier system before the NPS. That was before 2004, sir.
Okay.
And that because of that, it was in the news, and government has made it clear that it would be going to benefit to the already working employees in a more comprehensive manner than this NPS schemes. And we have to wait for the implementation. Let's see how.
All right. So apart from Rajasthan, there is one more state which has opted out of this system, which is that one?
Yes, sir. This is Chhattisgarh, sir.
Chhattisgarh. And what is their reason to opt out of it?
Sir, I have not listened actually to their view. Actually, I am aware about only government of Rajasthan. What's their?
Okay, Ramraj, tell me, do you have a role model?
Yes, ma'am. My role model is, ma'am, in sports, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, ma'am, and in the science, it is Albert Einstein.
And what have you learned from them, or what you want to imbibe in your life, which you learned from them?
Yes, ma'am. From MS Dhoni, it is of his calmness during the stress situations and handling the situations calmly. And he said one thing that focus on what is controllable and leave the uncontrollables. And ma'am, from the Albert Einstein, I believe that he was the greatest scientist of the 20th century, and he was way ahead of his time. So I just inspired by his mind, because many of his discoveries are now being proved true, which he has claimed during the 1930s.
Okay, so you're talking about Albert Einstein. See, if we what we learned from biography of Albert Einstein is that he was the school system of that time, or the education system of that time, did not do justice to him. And Albert Einstein got recognized very later in life. He had to give up on school, then he had to give up on college. Do you think Indian education system does justice to the interests of students?
Sorry, ma'am, I was unable to hear in between. Could you please be a bit louder?
I repeat that Albert Einstein was very disappointed with the education system of his times. His interest could not find justice in the education system of those times. He was good in physics, mathematics, but that thing did not go well in his life. So he had to take up a very low-level job and work on his research side by side. Do you think Indian education system is doing justice to the students?
Well, ma'am, my answer would be partially yes and no also, because we are promoting the education like a commodity now. It's becoming very much competitive, and in the meanwhile, we forget that what the students' interest actually is. But the recent policy of the new education policy is having a really, really very good provisions, and I think if they would be implemented, then definitely the Indian education system would get transformed, ma'am.
What are the specific provisions which are, which you think are very good in the new education policy? Just talk about any one of them.
Okay, ma'am, one provision I like the most is that the interdisciplinary approach. So let's the science student also take interest to the humanities, and humanities students also take interest into the science. And this was very particularly very important during even the Einstein's such time, because he was also interested in the mathematics, physics. So these multi discipline people which are interested in more than one subject, so such people were at that particular time were there, and now I think our government has wanted to establish such system through this education policy.
Okay, great. Ramraj, you've listed two hobbies here. Can you tell me why is having a hobby important for a person?
Ma'am, hobby I think is important because it helps us to interact with the other people in the social environment. For example, ma'am, I was a very continuous part of the athletics team, and there I got to know that we can cooperate with many people when we play as a team. We does not care about what his gender, what are his caste, and all these norms. We come up there and we just focus on our cooperation. So, ma'am, I think the cooperation is just one thing. And ma'am, the second thing I would say the competitiveness, the spirit of competitiveness which the sports brings in, and which later reflected into the other domains also, ma'am. So I think these are the two reasons.
Okay. We do know this. There's a problem with it.
Am I audible?
You're audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah.
Anwar sir, you have any other questions?
No. We can proceed with the feedback.
All right. Thank you, Ramraj.
Thank you, sir.
All right, sir. Please give your feedback.
Okay. Ramraj, so see, I like your candidature.
Thank you, sir.
It shows that you are a honest, hardworking person. You have to improve a bit on your like the way you give your answers. You practice, then you can improve your like score. So you are already at like average, or you can say somewhere between average and above average level. But if you want to score like a good score, then you have to work on something, which is uh, somewhat you can say the way you answer. So what you answer is fine. The way you answer, the way you say, you have to practice, and it will come with practice. If you practice more on that, those lines,
Could you
practice your
be-
introduction.
So could you be a bit specific, because I'm open to this. How I'm answering?
See, just the same thing that you said now. Could you be more specific? So it is good, but the way you say it, you can practice it more. It will sound, yes, it will sound more, what you can say. Especially in this was a generic thing, but when you are answering something related to like electrical engineering or some things related to developments in your own district or international relations. So in there, the same thing that you want to say, just practice it better so that it comes out very clear. So
Okay.
your knowledge on the basics knowledge on the electrical engineering side is, I think, fine. If you read a little bit, it should be covered. But then some developments in your states, especially international relations, if you have written, then you have to be up to date about it. But yes, you have the crux of it. You are aware of the things. You are aware of the happenings. Just frame it better. The responses you can frame it better.
Okay.
Uh, I think was there any question regarding journaling or running? Not
No, sir. Then
not there, right? Yeah. Do prepare on this aspect also.
okay.
On journaling and running, many questions can be asked. Difference between walking, running, jogging, things like that. Journaling, how it helps you. Maybe it helps you in meditation, or maybe on reflecting on yourself, something
Yes.
like that. So prepare well on these lines, especially things that you have written on DAF. You should be very well prepared. Very well prepared means like not only the things that you should know, but things that you should be you should practice speaking it. Like you should frame some questions in your mind and you should answer it so that it comes out very naturally and well framed. So from your DAF, I can see Rajasthan, IIT Ropar, your village, your date of birth is also this thing, 15th August. So be ready for some questions can be asked.
Okay, sir.
Then international relations journaling. I think international relations you will cover really well. That could be one part where you can improve your score a lot.
Okay,
So
sir.
read, and you are already well read. That is fine, but practice more on the speaking part.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Journaling and running, since no questions were asked, but prepare well on that side.
Okay, sir.
And
Fine.
then about your district is DOSA, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, some points on the district, and electrical engineering is mostly covered. So that should be okay. And I think some basics questions of accounts were asked, but your reply was good. Overall, it's good. Keep doing what you're doing and improve on the speaking part.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
See, Ramraj, दो तीन चीजें. You are comfortable with Hindi also?
Sir, actually, I just wanted to ask this, whether I should go for the English or Hindi.
Hi, right. That is the thing. I also felt that. So that is what I am telling you, that what you say, what you want to say is very good, but how you say it, that needs to be worked upon.
It is all about the confidence, but we didn't see any problem with your English also. It went very well. So इतना कोई issue नहीं है. But only the thing is you need to be little bit active or kind of enthusiastic when you are giving the answer. ठीक है, वो थोड़ा सा लगता है कि अभी आप थोड़ा सा डरे सहमे से बैठे हो. ठीक है, तो यू कैन वर्क ऑन दैट. और गेस वर्क कर रहे हो आप कई फॉर मेनी क्वेश्चंस यू आर जस्ट गिविंग द गेस. तो वो मत करो इतना गेस वर्क विदाउट परमिशन. दैट इज नॉट करेक्ट. इट सीम्स यू आर मिसरीडिंग द पैनल आल्सो. ठीक है. और अभी आईआर इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन और लेबर लॉ आपका रिवाइज नहीं है. ठीक है, सो यू नीड टू वर्क ऑन दैट. कब किया था लास्ट रिवाइज?
Last time, sir, I did only during the exam times.
हाँ, सो उसे रिवाइज करो बिकॉज यू गिव मेनी रॉन्ग आंसर. सो मैंने ज्यादा क्वेश्चन फिर उस साइड पे पूछे भी नहीं है. ठीक है, तो यू नीड टू वर्क ऑन दैट. ठीक है. एंड यू नीड टू हैव अ वेरी गुड आंसर फॉर योर एकेडमिक्स कि आप स्विच क्यों कर रहे हो उतना. ठीक है. यू यू आर फ्रॉम आईआईटी, देन उसके बाद आप सिविल सर्विस की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हो. एंड यू कैन नॉट डायरेक्टली से कि भाई मेरा एक एग्जाम क्रैक हो चुका है और मैं ईपीएफओ के इंटरव्यू में बैठने वाला हूँ. ठीक है. इट गिव्स वेरी रॉन्ग इंप्रेशन, स्पेसिफिकली व्हेन यू आर नॉट बैकिंग योर आंसर विद सम काइंड ऑफ some kind of a thing जो social welfare या kind of shows your sense of participation toward the society. ऐसा कुछ दिखा भी. ठीक है. आपने एक बात जरूर बोली थी that during your college time you have participated with some NGO work or some social service work, but उसको elaborate नहीं किया. ठीक है. You could have elaborated that. तो वो आपको काफी ज्यादा हेल्प करेगा इंटरव्यू में, because it is a very definite question which is going to be asked कि आप अभी 4 साल डिग्री किया इंजीनियरिंग में, फिर 5 साल से आप सिविल्स की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हो. ठीक है. देन बिकॉज ये क्लियरली दिखता है कि ईपीएफओ में आप टिकने वाले नहीं हो. ठीक है. तो यू नीड टू मेक देम फील कि आप यहीं पर हो, कहीं नहीं जा रहे हो. ठीक है. यू लव दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, आप इसी के लिए बने हो. ठीक है. यू नीड टू प्रेजेंट द थिंग्स इन दिस वे. ठीक है. अब सिविल सर्विसेज को ज्यादा हाईलाइट करने की जरूरत नहीं है यहाँ पर. ठीक है. एंड इफ एज मैम आस्क्ड कि अगर पूछ ही लेते हैं अगर सिविल सर्विस क्रैक हो जाता तो डेफिनेटली यू विल लीव दिस जॉब, है ना. तो वो तो इट्स अ जेन्युइन एंड क्लियर आंसर. तो उसमें कोई इशू नहीं है. बट यू नीड टू हैव दिस काइंड ऑफ क्लैरिटी कि मैं ईपीएफओ में क्यों आना चाह रहा हूँ. ठीक है. तो एड द एलिमेंट लाइक सोशल वेलफेयर एंड वर्किंग फॉर द मार्जिनाइज्ड वर्कर, ये सारी चीजें ऐड करो. बट इसके लिए आपको कुछ स्कीम्स वगैरह पर भी क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए कि व्हाट आर द स्कीम्स व्हिच ईपीएफओ रन. ठीक है. बाकी आपका सर ने आपको अकाउंटिंग और एकेडमिक्स तो बता ही दिया है, तो दैट इज गुड. बट मार्जिनलाइज वर्कर के लिए क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, उसके लिए क्या गवर्नमेंट का स्कीम है वो क्लियर नहीं है. राजस्थान आपने ठीक प्रिपेयर किया. वी went into the history or the other aspect, but I guess उसको आपने प्रिपेयर किया होगा, and that is very much required also.
स्पेशली जो ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज है राजस्थान की, आई वुड सजेस्ट कि आप जिस कम्युनिटी से हैं दैट इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट एजुकेटेड कम्युनिटीज ऑफ राजस्थान. तो आप उस रिस्पेक्ट में अपने आंसर्स दीजिए. आप देखिए कौन से ऐसे लॉज लाई है गवर्नमेंट या आपकी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट जो कि ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज को बेनिफिट करते हैं. एंड स्पेशली व्हेन यू आर आंसरिंग दैट व्हाट इज योर गोल इन लाइफ. सी गोल जो होता है आपका लॉन्ग टर्म होता है. You're talking about child marriage, I understand. You're talking about, low sex ratio of Rajasthan, I understand. But वो काफी reflect कर रहा है आपका, see this was a general question. आप एक civil servant, civil services के interview में नहीं है. आपके जो questions है EPFO के हिसाब से होने चाहिए. And अगर एक कोई general question है, so वो आपकी एक general life story को reflect करना चाहिए. ठीक है. एंड द थर्ड थिंग इज दैट यू आर क्वाइट एंशियस व्हाइल गिविंग आंसर्स. आपके आंसर्स है, कंटेंट अच्छा है, इंटेलिजेंट आंसर्स है, बट आप थोड़ा बीच में झुक रहे हैं या आप डर रहे हैं. सो सी इंटरव्यू में आपको कोई क्रॉस क्वेश्चन नहीं करेगा. इट वुड बी अ जनरल डिस्कशन. आपसे सवाल पूछा जाएगा, आपके जवाब का वेट किया जाएगा. सो नथिंग, डरने की कोई बात नहीं है. आपको प्रॉपर टाइम मिलेगा आंसर के लिए. आराम से बैठिए, धीरे बोलिए, अपना जो स्पीड है आंसर का वो कम कीजिए अगर आपको इंग्लिश से भी प्रॉब्लम है, बट मेंटेन द क्लैरिटी इन योर आंसर. अपने आंसर्स को क्लियर बनाइए. एंड यही है ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज के बारे में. और एक और भमशा स्कीम है राजस्थान की, और भमशा कार्ड्स है. तो इसमें सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और राजस्थान गवर्नमेंट का काफी टसल रहा है. दैट राजस्थान गवर्नमेंट डिड नॉट वांट टू इम्प्लीमेंट आधार कार्ड वाला जो स्कीम है, या जो भमशा हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस है. तो कुछ ऐसी स्कीम्स लेकर जाइए ऑलरेडी जो कि राजस्थान में प्रेवलेंट है, और जिनसे बाकी कंट्री में भी अगर प्रेवलेंट हो तो उनको हेल्प मिल सकती है. आपको एटलीस्ट बेसिक नॉलेज होनी चाहिए. एंड दैट्स ऑल. आपका जो इंजीनियरिंग वाला पार्ट है, सी सर ने ट्रांसफॉर्मर वाली साइड से पूछा. इट इज वेरी लाइकली कि आपसे कोर सब्जेक्ट से पूछ लिया जाए, बट जनरल चीजें जैसे कि एक पेन ड्राइव में कौन सी सर्किटरी इन्वॉल्व है, ट्यूब लाइट में कौन सा सर्किट इन्वॉल्व है, तो ये चीज आप गूगल कीजिए. आई एम श्योर ये चीजें आपको मिल जाएंगी. एंड इन सबको प्रिपेयर करके जाइए. जो आपकी डेली लाइफ एप्लीकेशन है इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग की, या इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग को आप EPFO में क्यों यूज करेंगे, कैसे यूज करेंगे. सो ऑल द बेस्ट फ्रॉम माय साइड, एंड दैट्स ऑल.
Thank you, ma'am. I was having one question.
Ramraj, you have any questions?
Yes, sir. I was having the question that how should I substantiate my gap, sir? Actually, that is a big headache for me for the time.
Kindly repeat your question. क्या कह रहा है?
What were you actually doing? You were preparing for
I was
civil
preparing for
services, right?
Yes.
So people who are sitting there, like they know that it takes time to prepare for civil services. Say it, no problem in that. And
Abhinav
meanwhile,
sir,
you were giving other exams also.
Yes, sir. I gave the other.
So that is how it happens. To say it and say it with confidence.
yeah, Abhinav sir, it will be good if you guide him because you have that much experience.
Yes, that is what I'm telling. Say honestly that you were started for civil services, but then the question is the why civil services. That is what about I was going to ask also. That why civil services? That question will come. So then prepare a good answer for it also.
Okay, sir.
Yes, but say it honestly that you are doing, and it takes time. The success ratio is low. Everyone knows it. So
I was doing this only answer. That's why I told it with the honesty
yes,
that.
so say this. But then if you're leaving HPCL, you're leaving everything and preparing for civil services. There must be a strong reason for it.
Yes, sir. That was also that. Will you leave for the civil services? The CPFO. How should I answer this?
No, but so strong reason for civil services. But then you will be give other exams also because realistically you have to look for a job as well.
Yes.
So you will give other exams. So EPFO is one very prestigious position. UPSC conducts the exam. UPFO is a very well-known organization. It has a very large impact in the workforce of the country. It provides development opportunities. It provides you learning opportunities as well, professionalized service. So all those things are there.
Okay,
So
sir.
along with civil services, EPFO is also a very nice service, good opportunity. So you will give that exam also. So that is, you just explain this thing in a good way.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'll practice on it.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions, Ramraj?
Sir, I was thinking that whether I should give in the English or Hindi because they did not ask about English.
I don't think there was any concern with respect to your English.
I don't think so. You're very fluent. Just be little calm. धीरे धीरे जवाब दीजिए. ठीक है, ताकि clarity आए आंसर में.